Hey folks, I'm Hendrik. In the German scene, I'm sometimes referred as the Berlin guy. And due to World Cup is hosted next month in Berlin, I wanted to give you a guide how to recognize and maybe region guess some Berlin. Um, Identifying Berlin is pretty easy, I would say. Most important are the Berlin street name signs. They're unique. You have always like this whitish sign with the big gray outline. Um, there are some different ones, so you not always see them. Um, but like 95% of the time you see this one, and then you're pretty sure you're in Berlin. The second most often and a very useful one is the East Berlin street sign. It looks pretty much the same, but it has a different font and some dots on the side to the gray outline that you will see in the whole eastern part of Berlin, but it's not always there. But if you see it, you're in East Berlin. And in the north to Hermsdorf, you can see these blue signs with French names. They're very rare, but if you see them, you're always in like Weidmannslust, Hermsdorf, Wittenau, somewhat like that, pretty north of Berlin. And sometimes there are also these green signs. I don't think they're unique to Berlin, but they do exist here, so you can see them in Berlin in GeoGuessr. The second thing you can recognize Berlin is the sidewalks. I think they're very distinct to Berlin. You always have like, or not always, but most often have like these big granite curbs, then some small like pebble stone, then a bigger part of squared tiles, and then again pebble stone next to the housings. And you see this quite often in Berlin, mostly in the dense um, dense parts of Berlin. Here next to Tempodrom as well. You also see the sidewalks. You have these granite curbs, the small pebbled stone. Here you have the other type of sidewalk. It's like bigger squares and again pebbles to the housings. So these are my two clues I most often use to recognize Berlin. For region guessing in Berlin, there are some clues to separate East and West Berlin very easily. By example, these concrete lamps just appear in the east. And if you see them made of concrete, most often with this top, you are in East Berlin. But you can also see some metal in East, but in the West, you will rarely see or never see really some lamps out of concrete. They most likely look like these in the West, and mostly these kind of lamp with the more detailed bottom is like in the middle and lower part of Berlin West, while in the north they're not as detailed. It looks pretty much the same, but the bottom is not as detailed as in the middle and the south. Second one to use is the football colors. So in the West there's Hertha BSC. It has blue and white colors. So if you see stickers or graffiti with blue and white, you're most likely in the West. And if you see graffiti in red and white, you're in the East because of Union Berlin. It's the East Berlin Football Club. And that's a pretty easy way to get these things apart. And you also can use public transport. In the east, they use Straßenbahn more often. I will show you a map of the Straßenbahn in Berlin, and you see it's most of the time in the east. And if you see rails on the road, you're pretty sure in the east of Berlin. Just some roads in the west have these rails on the road. But if you see an entrance to an underground, then you're most likely in the west, because there's just one route of the underground bahn to the east in Berlin. So here's a map of it too. So you can see it's most likely in the west, but not as much in the east. So if you see an entrance or a sign to an entrance to an underground part with that white U on the blue background, you're most likely in the west. And there's one best tip for GeoGuessing Berlin. It's the bus stops. If you have a bigger bus stop with a house like this, you most of the time have a map on it, which you can pretty clearly see. And there's a yellow circle on the map where you are into, so you can pretty have a good guess. If you can line up the bigger streets in Berlin on the map, you're pretty sure you're in this yellow circle. Not always in the middle, but you're in the circle, and there you can have a good region guess if you are next to a bus stop in Berlin. Yeah, these are my best tips to recognize and region guess Berlin. I hope you can use them. Sometimes I know Berlin will not appear very often inside rank games, but maybe in some fun modes. And if you are in Berlin, maybe to have a look on these clues, and you will see them in real life. Bye bye.